Good morning, everyone. It's Evan. Today's Wednesday, June 24th, 12:34 p.m. Central Time. And off the top of my head, I was doing homework last night. I stayed up until maybe a little past midnight, and I just woke up like at 11. It's not normal for me to wake up so late in the day, but I guess it's my recovery, my healing, and the pace that I'm going that I'm just going with it. Like I'm not being overcritical of myself of when I wake up, when I go to sleep, when I shower, when I eat, as long as I get them done. That's fair for me. So it's like as long as I brush my teeth, granted, like there would be days where I'm like, oh, I forgot to brush my teeth and so now I'm just like as long as I'm doing things that like I'm making the intent to take care of my teeth, which my teeth are, even though my tooth popped out, my back tooth popped out. My teeth are doing much better, and maybe when I have some time worth showing people the things I've been using lately, there's some Trident gum I just bought for whitening teeth. The only thing I don't like is that the flavor goes really fast. And I bought some caffeine gum from Walmart, and I actually had a better experience with that gum as far as like flavor and I guess what you would say is like the effects of that gum than this Trident gum. So I think the Trident gum is a bit overhyped, but for what I'm trying to do is like whiten my teeth and the I guess appearance of my teeth. It's okay, I suppose. And I bought some mouthwash, but the toothpaste is where I would really like to spend some time showing you guys this toothpaste that I thought for sure I was like, okay, this is probably like dramatic over marketing of this toothpaste like every other toothpaste and super overhyped and like the images were they were super I suppose like artificial images. Like you can tell that like, the images have been like really touched up on the product. So I was just like, I don't know, this is probably sus and a waste of money because I have cracks in my teeth, my two front teeth, and I'm sure there are other cracks everywhere else, but the major cracks are right here, and I have two stents, one placed inside each front tooth. And so I have like a chip right here. No, someone's starting on my order at Walmart. But I have like a chip right here in this tooth, and I obviously do my own research because VA is horrible and they don't take care of me. But past that, I'm cooperating with people that want to help me. And so I saw that, yes, obviously, this may be a chip in my tooth. I mean, I suffered a traumatic accident. Traumatic is an understatement, it was near fatal. So I saw that, like, a lot of these surface scratches can be like enamel. So I saw this enamel, I guess this toothpaste that was like natural and has like 10% of something I don't remember what. And so the first day I used it, it was just like, whoa. I was just like, honestly, I felt like this is what toothpaste should feel like. And I'm used to generic brands, the most popular commercial brands like Crest, Colgate, and I feel like those were super abrasive on my teeth. Like I think they were scratching my teeth up more than they were helping my teeth. And this toothpaste actually, like, after the first time I used it, I felt like just a huge difference. So, anyways, I brushed my teeth this morning when I woke up. I decided I'm gonna do this video vlog before I get ready for the day. Another, like, I guess, miracle tip for me or from me was, I don't know what came across like my life, my mind, but I'm balling on a budget, and also I don't want to spend money on, like, I don't want to spend immense amount of money on things that I can either DIY or be frugal with. So I want to freshen up my room, but I also don't want like an overbearing smell in my bed, and I don't want like harsh chemicals. And then, like, on the top of my mind, I'm like, okay, like, I feel like there's certain zones where, like, right now is not the time. There used to be a time, I think, where people, I don't know if it was a trend or what, but people really want more natural approaches to house cleaning, and I'm like, right now is not the time for that. Like, we got this invasive fly that eats flesh, and it will eat any type of flesh, not just raw flesh but dead skin cells. And then we have these viruses like hantavirus and Zika. Like, right now is not the time to be like supernatural, like holistic, and like right now is the time to be just like pouring bleach everywhere, really. So I was just like, okay, well, I still want to keep, like, to a minimum the harsh chemicals, but I want it to be effective. So I got this room spray, and it was not so much effective for like my space as it was for me. And then I saw something that came across whatever I was doing, and it said that like the human body at night sweats so much, and I was just like, that is disgusting. Like, that is something I could live the rest of my life without knowing. So I guess every night you sleep, you sweat like so much, and it's a disgusting amount. I don't even want to know what it is, but you just sweat a lot. And I was like, okay, well, what can I do to just like freshen up where I sleep? I was having a lot of trouble sleeping because of my pain, and it's hard for me to move as it is and stand as it is and walk. But you can say I am stubborn, but that stubborn part of me is what keeps me walking and moving when I shouldn't even be walking and moving, and I could potentially fall. So I still have to live life, and I want to live life. So it really hurts a lot, but I get in and out of bed, and I think what hurts is more like the twisting and the bending of up and down. And I wake up every morning, that's the hardest part, because I wake up like full throttle, like I could just take on the day, and then I have to remind myself all over again, like, wait a minute, this is what happened to me, this is who you are now, you can't do these things. So then I get past that, and I'm like, okay, I gotta, like, if I'm not like making my bed to where I can bounce a dime off of it, I at least gotta nestle, make my little nest, and fix my bedding. And then I found this room spray, and it was kind of a bit overrated on Walmart. And I was like, maybe this is just super overhyped. But then I was like, I don't know. I did a little bit of research on it, and there was some pretty good reviews, even though there was some bad ones. And I was actually surprised that my concern with the product, nobody said anything about. Like, the bottle comes with like about, I would say, maybe more than a tenth. I'd say a quarter is being a little bit dramatic, but I would say about a tenth of the bottle is like gone. It's empty. It looks like somebody used it when you bought it. And so I was just like, okay, like somebody had to have used it before I bought it. But then I started looking at all the pictures, and even the pictures that the product promotes, and it looks like half gone. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm stupid for buying a bottle that looks like someone already used or whatever. But then I was like, okay, I'll just give it a go. I won't be a complainer. And then I sprayed, and I was like, okay, well, this smells like pretty refreshing. And I have like real choppy memory, but it kind of brought me back to my childhood where I think there used to be like a cherry almond soft soap or something like that. I don't know. I think that's what it smelled like to me. So I I sprayed it over my bed, and then I sprayed it, and I was like, okay, it smells really good. And I gave it some time, and a lot of the reviews were like, oh, it goes away fast. And I actually came back into the room, and it didn't go away at all. It was just like, I think it was actually crisper. Like it wasn't so saturated. It just smelled like very crisp. Like it had time to settle and be fragrant. So then I was like, wow, like usually once upon a time when I was balling, I would just take cologne breaks because like when I worked and I got very stinky, and sometimes I would work on vehicles like outside, and then also I would have to put in customer information, so I'd have to go inside or indoors and be on my laptop for a bit. So in between those moments of like I feel filthy from I'm working on the car, underneath the car, and then like now I'm in an office setting or my house, I was like I just gotta freshen up, and I would just take these cologne breaks, and it would just like I don't know boost me up and like smell fresh, like keep going. So then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just spray it again. And I found like this good rhythm of like spraying, obviously letting it air out, don't just wet everything. But like before I get in the bed, just spritz it, and after spritz it, like a light spritz. And I think it like really does help me a lot. Like it's helped my mind a lot. Really, it's helped my mental a lot because I think from just so much trauma being in the homeless shelter and people reeking and stench and smoke and mold and filth, like, I think that it really mentally would hang me up, like, if I smelled anything off, like, and now this morning, I was just like, okay, now that I've freshened up the bed and I freshened up the space, now I can, like, smell my own body odor, and I was just like, I feel a little bit healthier. I have like created my own baseline in my environment to like, okay, this is fresh, and where I can steadily freshen up in my day, as opposed where to in the past where I just get hung up by everything, and then it was just chaos. So gradually, I'm getting through. I have been waking up to like unreal amounts of views on my social medias. The first night it was 1.3K views overnight. The second night was almost 2,000 views overnight. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm obviously doing something right. Let's see if I can check my stats right now. My whoa, I'm almost at 3,000 views overnight. So I've been increasing. Like the first night was 1.3, the second night was 2, and now it's 3,000. So in the past 3 days, three, four, five, six, seven, I've almost had 7,000 views in the past 3 nights. I have 10.9K views. That's like wild. I I don't know. Like I didn't. My intentions, and that's just on my YouTube because on one of my Facebook videos, I got 4,000 views on just one video. So I'm almost at 15K views, probably over that on my platforms. And I never started this like looking for, as they say, clout or looking for. I started doing these videos for my own health, for me. I was in such a my my sister used the word recluse, like I was in such a like closed up space from what I am going through present day. And what I'm going through present day is no different than what I was going through in 2022 when I lost everything. Yesterday, I believe it was. I could be wrong. I don't think it was yesterday because yesterday was more trauma. It may have been the day before. I don't know. I made a video about it, but my ex liked a photo of ours from Niagara Falls, and I'm like, what do you want? There was a glitch. Okay, so I was just like, what do you want? Like, one, I thought I blocked you, and sometimes I guess I kind of like maybe like space out, but like I have thought that I blocked these people, and I don't know, maybe I guess I didn't, but I blocked them anyway. I just have no tolerance for like I'm like, dude, I thought I blocked you like so many times. And then some people I've come to realize have like all these profiles and I block every single one. And even if I think it's them, I still block it anyway. And it's not out of hostility as it is for my own safety. Like, you've already caused this much harm in my life. So I never did anything to you. What do you want? And I guess it's just people that lurk, I suppose. So I was kind of like, what do you want? Like, why would you like a photo of us? You know, and so I'm like, okay, well, obviously they're finding out or seeing things about me in some way. So I went to, I just recently started really being active on Instagram. So I looked her up on Instagram and then I was like, okay, well, obviously maybe this, I'm speculating this is a way that they're viewing my content. I have no idea. But I saw on their profile, like, she has like all these photos like being engaged, about to be married and stuff like that. So then I just blocked. I'm like, okay, what do you want from me? Like, why all of a sudden out of nowhere like my photo or like that was probably I mean, we're two entirely different people now and I am super happy with myself. Granted, I've been through something no one should ever go through. I'm not taking away from whatever it is she's going through, her emotions. What I've learned learned on Love Island is like your emotions are valid. Like her emotions are valid. If she wants to like a photo of us from once upon a time, then that's cool. But also that does not liking one photo doesn't take away all of the horrible things that were done to me. Like a brother got hurt in the workplace and you took off. And I think that I've learned to really not just advocate for myself, but I also, even though she may not see it, or maybe it's coming together for her now, I advocated for both of us in a time where maybe she couldn't see or did not want to see the truth, and maybe still doesn't want to see the truth, and maybe the truth is setting in about a lot of things in this milestone in her life. Like, I wish everybody nothing but happiness in whatever it is that they do and decide to do in their lives. Like, that has absolutely nothing to do with me. And I have actually fallen in love with a woman after that. And I fell in love with another woman after that woman. And I have been in difficult decisions where, in spaces where, is the answer to just walk away and take off? No. I mean, I feel like the answer to walk away and take off is maybe in the sense of like things are getting highly escalated, just go away, like for a little bit, chill out, calm down, come back to it. Okay. But as far as like relationships, like to just walk away from that relationship, it's like I always think of that Craig David song where he says, I'm walking away. It's like you're not walking away from that individual. Walking away from that individual causes more problems. You're not just walking away from the person, you're walking away from the troubles in your life. And that's what we should walk away from. But also you can't leave, like your problems will always follow you wherever you go. You have to face them and face those people, and what I'm getting at is like I've been put in a situation where I've been in real love. Like somebody posted on Instagram overnight, like, what did they post? They posted like unpredictable love, unplanned love, like this is you or something like that. And I totally could relate to that post because I'm like, the person that I love or fell in love with now, I don't want to say that I loved, but yes. Oh my gosh, I have to repost this. I'm sick. I need help. I want to see if I can find this post. It says, unplanned love, unexpected bond, right time, right person, that's you. And it has the hands heart and the red heart. But like, I fell in love with somebody. Well, I fell in love with somebody when I had it all, and I have a lot of unresolved emotions there. And then I fell in love with somebody when I lost it all. Like, I fell in love with this woman when I was at a homeless shelter. An unexpected bond. I think the bond was like, I saw the realist. Like, I saw somebody that was probably the only person for like, who knows how many major cities away, that had the intellectual capacity to really understand me and me understand them. And it was like unexpected and the right time and the right person. I mean, for me, it was the right time, and for me, it was the right person. For me, there was no other person, literally not another person for like ever away. And the right time and the right person, well, for me, it felt like the worst time, and it felt like this is the worst feeling. Like, the worst feeling is, you know, that feeling and those thoughts of like, if I didn't love you, my life would be so much better. If I didn't feel that maybe there was a connection there, and not like a Love Island connection, but like a real connection, like, then life would be so much easier if that just wasn't there. And that's the worst feeling ever, because I think you come to understand in those moments of like, that is truly the worst, but that is real love. Like, real love is loving someone not just when things are the best and luxurious and fine, and really loving somebody is like they say, through the best of times and through the worst of times. And if you don't comprehend those simultaneously, like, who I see will be the worst and the best throughout the day, and that's who you choose to love. Like, and for me, like, real love is that it was unplanned. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm super like classical in that sense of Casablanca and those movies, that traditional movies that show real love, like even Love Island, like, that's raunchy. But like, if you think back to Casablanca, like, as brutal as this guy talked to in the lines he was given, like, this is a guy that he is romancing, like, he's giving all 100% man. And that's kind of the reality, is like, things can be so scandalous to the top, and they can be so wasteful to the bottom. But through those moments, it's like, who do you continue to understand in this world, and understand in a way that gets you through those moments? I think that's real love. That's like a real connection. And I have been put in a place where, like, okay, well, what if these feelings can't be overrun by anything. You can't override these feelings on either end. And I'm just like, well, that's not my problem. Like, that's the other person's problem. Like, that's not that I don't have any empathy, but if I choose to love a woman and the world says it's wrong, then that seems like it's the world's problem, not mine. And I have every right to love whoever in this world I choose to love. And I think that everybody deserves that, safely. Yesterday, I went to the VA, and I'm so used to the VA just doing whatever it wants of me all the time that I went to see my new PCP, and the nurse, her name was Promise, and she did her thing as far as like screening me vitals, and my vitals were actually the lowest it's ever been. Shocking because I saw Ariana's booty on the big screen TV, and then I mean, anyways, I mean that's a cure for PTSD right there. So and I was like, man, maybe I've been watching too much Love Island because, these people just come out and start touching on each other. And this doctor comes in. I didn't even know he was a doctor. The nurse was like, whomever it may be, him or her, the doctor will be in soon. And, so this guy comes in and he just puts his clipboard down or whatever. And he moves my backpack and he just starts, no gloves, just starts touching on my shins, on my legs. And I was just like, let's see, something's unavailable. Okay, my PJs are not available. I really didn't like them anyway. I was like, the PJ said that they were a cotton blend, and my skin's already irritated as it is. And I was like, okay, saying it's a cotton blend is not 100% cotton. So I'm kind of glad that it wasn't in there, that it's not there. But then I don't want like silk or satin because then I don't want to, like right now, my wardrobe is just not set up for silk or satin. Because like with silk or satin, I can't just like throw it in the wash. I mean, I'm sure people do throw it in the wash, but like with silk or satin, I have to like actually like steam it and hang it. I don't know. But I also don't have any PJs. And my skin just needs to breathe right now from the allergy test. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. And after the allergy test, that I broke out like somewhere right here on my neck. Oh, I broke out right here on my neck. Like I had like this huge pimple right here. And I made a video the other day about like how I break out right here when my hairs irritate. And actually, I got one on the same side, on the other side this morning. I think I had one here, and now I have one here. So, anyways, my PJs are not here. That's okay. That means they weren't for me. I already kind of had a feeling that those PJs were not for me because right when I saw Cotton Blend, I was like, they're not being honest about the cotton. Cotton shrinks. I'll find the right set of PJs. Plus, I just got a robe, so that'll get me by through the morning. But anyways, so this doctor just touches on my shins, and then I said, what's your name? And he's like, Dr. Ramen. And then he's just like, how can I help you? And I'm just like, okay, well, I just transferred PCPs from Houston to KDOPC, and over the weekend, I was given these documents. I did an allergy test, you know, and he's like, well, these should be put in the system. Oh, he was just he was intentionally being somebody he's not, and I don't have tolerance for that. So I was just like, okay, like if you want to waste government time, then I'm right there with you because I feel like you can't accuse people. Like I saw something this morning with Dr. Oz. Like I think Dr. Oz is the biggest fraud on the planet, but he's amongst those same people. But my thing is like, first of all, Dr. Oz is some type of medical doctor. Like you have no understanding of what fraud is, and I think that's a huge problem. Like, I think that there is systemic fraud as far as like healthcare fraud and medical fraud. I'm not denying that there is, but that's the problem is like people like Dr. Oz, like, they manipulate the same system. Like, if he was not benefiting off of healthcare fraud, Dr. Oz would not be Dr. Oz. Dr. Phil would not be Dr. Phil. So I'm just like, with that interaction with that guy, I'm at the point where I mean, I think that I handle myself pretty well considering what I've been through. And I'm just like, okay, like I would never treat anyone the way you treat me. That's why I'm here and you're here. You know, that's why we're in the same room together. Like I didn't even want to tell my family what happened to me, and obviously the response was like, you know, you always stir up trouble, you always stir up, and that's why people don't speak about sexual. It takes them forever to come out about that. I think it's faster for somebody to come out the closet than it is to talk about sexual assault. And, you know, the response I was given was like, okay, well, maybe that's more physical assault. But no, like, it is sexual assault. Like, I'm a grown man, you're a man, and it shouldn't matter if you're a grown man. If you're XYZ, you identify as caterpillar, like, I don't care. Like, if you identify as worm, I mean, I've seen a show where this guy he falls in love with his car and marries it. Like on the inside, I felt like that, you know. But I don't care who you are, who you love, where you come from. Like, I mean, don't touch me. If I don't give you permission to touch me, don't touch me. I don't go touching people like that. I don't go out in the world. I always ask like, hey, can I show you this? Can I, you know, or I'm in a safe setting. Like, and we're in a safe setting at church where we hold hands and we pray. That's different. You know what I'm saying? But we're not accosting each other. Like we're not doing those things. And my thing is, you're a doctor. Handle yourself professionally when you come into a room. Say who you are. You know what I mean? I've been around these idiots at the shelter that think that somebody put a small town sheriff of a homeless, you know, that's, and I thank God that I am actually away from those phony people. A man who operates a homeless shelter that swears on the Bible and everything around him that he has the power to be law enforcement and claim to be whoever he is, and a phony janitor that swears there's some IT, and just phony people. Like, now I am surrounded by real experts, real people that have, you know, I know that this was difficult. My items are coming. Hmm. Well, I'm surrounded by real people, and I know it was beyond difficult to take me out that rut. And it's like, I feel like it is in a biblical sense or in a spiritual sense where God's people pull people out the dirt and just hand them over to God. You know, that is really full circle what happened to me. Like, I was just a person that was not deserving of the place I was put ultimately in that corporate setting. And whatever those things, awful things happened to me, they happened to me. But God surrounded me with angels that it was not a challenge for them to just fly down and pick me up out of it. Did it take a lot of time and a lot of work? Yes. Did it feel like Dante's Inferno and like nobody would ever get down to me and get me out of it? Yes. But I got out of it. Out of all those levels and layers and realms of the world, I was pulled out of like the worst circumstance. And recently, I went to a first time buyers class and first time home buyers, and they said something in that class that really hit me. They said, leave the real investigation to the real investigators. And it's like that really just made me feel like real security. Like, you know, the people that are real, true investigators, like, they do the right thing. That's why they're real investigators. And the people that are phony, like phony Robert Heckler, like, they and Chief Odin, they interpret, they don't know how to interpret their world, let alone the law. So they operate in a dangerous way. And and that's not real law enforcement. That's not real deputizing of anything or real investigation. That's just dumb. And it is violent and it's unsafe. But when I was sitting there and I was told this, I was just like, you know, I'm just going to continue to. What is happening? I have likes on my TikTok, but I just keep moving forward from all of that. And making these videos, like, has helped me a lot. Like, helped me purge, like, yes, it is sexual assault. You know, when you touch somebody they don't want to be touched, like, ask, have consent. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. You know, I did my research once upon a time and I came across the original DOJ Donald Trump with the case. Now they have merged it into a library, the Epstein Library. I don't even know. It's not even worth me looking for, but I sometimes I'm really good about saving like publications on my laptop. And I don't even know if I saved that one or not. Maybe I did, but I would love to show the world like the original DOJ post about the case compared to this phony merged Epstein files. And I mean, outside of investigations, what's investigatory, what's not, like, we're in the world and we should all feel safe. And I think when it comes to international human rights, even though I'm going through this arbitration, the reality is there is my human rights are being violated right now. There is not a mediator. Like, yes, there's a mediator, but there is not a person that has, how do I say this? There is not a person involved in my case right now outside of me that has true understanding of human rights violations. And everyone deserves for somebody to sit in on those cases, whether it's an arbitration or it's a public court hearing. Everyone deserves for someone to be there and make sure that those rights are not being violated. I guess I'm that everyone because there's nobody there. And I can say that, I can state that. Is it going to make a difference? No, but I hope that in this process, in these processes, that someone like Josh Ordaway and Kelly and all these Nicole, whoever is involved in this case, I hope that they stay true to their discipline and continue to learn because learning the law is not always going to be so textbook. It's not always going to be so Ivy League as they've been groomed to do. You know, it is going to be this experience with me and handling this case and negotiating and settling this case. And that's not going to look like every other case they've ever had. My case is not unique. It's not, my case is a case that's being fought for everyone on the planet. And I could care less what anybody says. At least I'm doing something in the world to make sure that even those people that have treated me like trash in this process have a better workplace. That even they too have a way to move forward if somebody that they love are hurt working at a McDonald's or hurt at working at a car dealership or whatever, even if they're government employees, that they have a better workplace. So, what are they doing? They're just on somebody's payroll, writing the clock and hours and pushing pen and paper. And here I am every single day because God's made a way. Every single day, I have gotten more viewers for whatever reason. I have no idea. I can't explain it. But day one, day two, day three, like I'm already at, I mean, at over 10K, 10.9 on my YouTube channel. So the sad reality and truth is, I'm making more of an impact in the world than one owning a billion or $1 trillion corporation. I I can sit here and discuss all what's negative and wrong in my life, and that will help people. Maybe it'll paint a picture for them that, man, I could have had it like that. I could be in that situation, but I'm not. Or I can sit here and say, you know what? This is who I am right now in this moment, and nothing's going to make me feel ashamed. Nothing anymore is going to make me suffer. No one is ever going to make me suffer. Will people try and to violate me? Of course, because people don't need a reason. They're weird. I just reported that guy and an officer. I reported him to the sexual harassment hotline with VA. An officer reached out to me. I think he said his name was Officer Seaburst, and we talked it out. And he's like, "Do you want to press charges to the fullest extent?" I said, "Yes." It's not just like, "Hey, that's wrong." Like, there needs to be accountability. At the homeless shelter, this guy named Jeremy Reynolds, he used, as they say in law enforcement or in legal terms, he used an excess of force to get into my room, and I got hurt. I have, I still have injury to my toe. It was a hematoma to my right toe, and he hurt my feet. I was in my room barefoot in the homeless shelter, like, and this guy brought it upon himself to get violent over something the janitor, he wasn't doing his job. What was it, to heat treat rooms and get rid of bed bugs? Lord forbid he do anything. And so I wanted to press charges. I pressed charges. I told law enforcement to press charges on this guy, and they did nothing. West Columbia Police Department did nothing. That guy's still out there living his best life, and so is the other guy living his best life. But all I can do is just report these people. I'm tired of reporting just the situation. I'm just reporting these people, and I'm leaving it to the real investigators. And I hope that every single day, as I talk, as I speak, my character shows. And my Walmart delivery is about to get here, so I'm gonna get offline. But I think I said for the most part what I needed to say. I got the best sleep I've ever gotten, probably ever. So I'm healing, I'm recovering, I'm getting better. Today I'm going to start my day with homework and making sure I'm caught up with my homework. I'd rather be like a week ahead of my homework than a week behind. So I'm going to start with some homework, and then I'll get back to reporting these people that have really caused nothing but harm in my life, to the point where I don't have my own home, I don't have a job, I don't have, but I can sit here saying I don't have all day, we'll be here all day. And I'm focusing on finally achieving things in my life, which is hard for those people to achieve. Pass a Microsoft certificate online, big whoop. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that fraud I think for fraud, I heard once to prove it was in the show. They made a remake of the Rainmaker like series, and I think they put Brewster's daughter now. So she said, in order to prove that a crime was committed, the easiest way to prove it is to prove that it's still being committed. And I think with fraud, like, it's so much more than it's understanding the organization of fraud. And I think that I've experienced it to a degree that no one should ever experience. I've experienced corruption to the highest degree of corruption. And I think that you have to get to the root of that problem. And the root doesn't start by people like Dr. Oz who have benefited from that by saying, oh, there's a huge problem and it's affected this many people. Well, how about the people that have not been victims to it, but how about showing the names of of the people that have profited from all of those people? Because it's you can say, well, 1,000, 100,000 people were victims of those victims who profited, and sadly, I don't think I don't want it to seem like I am in agreement with anything Luigi did, Luigi Mangione, but sadly, that is why there are those extremists. Sadly, that is why my delivery's here, but sadly, that's why, because they have the actual intellect and the actual intelligence to see through people like Dr. Oz. They have the actual intelligence, and that's where I know that there's an imbalance in life. Right now, the imbalance is that there are people like Luigi, there are people like this accountant that went through the Washington press conference or whatever. There are people that are this intelligent that have actual understanding of their discipline, and the system is imbalanced because these men have money and they have a power or position and they profit. They really do put profit over people. And it's like, what do you do when you do the right thing to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, and from the top down over and over and over again, and nobody hears you out? And it's wrong what was done, obviously, but the reality is that sadly, that's just how the world is set up right now. So, what can be done? Who knows? I don't know. I think that the maximum exposure has come to light of where the root of the problem is, and sadly, I just pray about it. But anyways, my Walmart delivery's here. Peace out. Gotta go.